truth of singularity, non-duality. And the lie, the duality, the chaos, all the trapped and bent light perceived in fragmented egoic consciousness. Here is a source to all that is delusional. And here is delusion, which only purpose here on its own is to convince you that it is the truth, all the while masking that authentic source, stillness, which gave birth to energy and essence movement, being, the knowing. This is a scientific representation. It is a Gnostic representation. There's many philosophical and religious spiritual representations, which here on the front line, you have many ignorant people teaching. Anyone who will listen, anyone who will resonate with all these lights trapped in delusion and duality. Duality is the only thing that's real. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only way I can reason with these lights taking physical shape. What is the truth? Where do you see in your experience in reality? Beyond ideas and pictures and imaginings, singularity. You think these thoughts. There is program and trauma from when you were a child that we just follow the yellow brick road, follow in line, never knowing that these ideas that we take hold of, ideas from someone else. I don't have the page. Are now seen and thought of as our thoughts, because now they've become belief. Just a tiny sprinkle of resonation. And it is easy to fool the fool into believing that a lie is the truth. And you will see it everywhere. In your religions, politics, cultures, science, history, culture, human behavior, psychology, identification. But what is the truth? Where do you see singularity? Outside of the nagging mind. A mind who has a story, a specific story. I am this. I have experienced this. Life is like this. And to survive, to be successful, I must behave, act, present myself this way. A reaction, an adaptation to an external domineering reality. But where in there is there singularity? For here, with what I've just described, you have intention, but this intention from the outside is pulled and redirected how it wants you to behave, so it can coexist as is. And how is it coexisting, friend? What is the state of the union? As you see a world where people are competing and resisting each other, holding each other down and back. I don't want to talk about this. What I do want to talk about is singularity, the truth. Beyond the lies and illusions of resonance. Where is there singularity? In you. Everything is energy. Right? That's someone else's idea that we must now bow to. Energy cannot be, as you said, Ami, a question. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, because some mathematician decided this was correct and no one was brave enough to challenge this. For there's a problem with that. A common sense kind of problem, especially thinking the way humans think. For energy not having been able to be destroyed or created, where does it come from? For now we have string theory, which says that it's not all just energy. And then later we will have other theories, other observations. And mine here, my own gnosis with my energy, is that my energy, I'm talking about when I push past my limitations, be they physical, intellectual, consciousness. But when I dare, so to speak, bring myself to that boundary and persist, even when I have nothing left, when I dig even deeper, there is an intention. There's an intention and an ambition to understand myself even greater, to validate myself even more, to push past what it seems like I've been led to believe is even possible for someone like me. Just a little guy who's not allowed to speak his mind when the big alpha is bullying everybody. We're supposed to bow down, be it the bully in the schoolyard or the authority figure who is not justified or correct or just or in fact in truth. We are simply to follow, bow down, and that is your limitation. You're not allowed, because of science, to go beyond a boundary of rules, culture, ideas, established and accepted truths, which are not. But to come to that limitation and come to that singularity, before there is even energy, there is intention, authenticity, I dare say. Authenticity to express myself. And in this expression, I am simply going to say, at that moment of failure, at that moment of no thought, no feelings, defeat, I simply want to say no. No, I've got something left. I've got something to say. I have an authenticity, an intention. And don't get me wrong, because though this seems forceful and violent, there is a principle behind it. Of when you come to that point where you want to give up, and your mind tells you you cannot. If your intention says, no, I can, then just allow yourself to open and push it. And it is so. You can, if you want, if you intend. You do not need to behave someone else's way. You can choose to stay true to yourself.